I'm not going to lie. One of the reasons why I chose to cover this story and do this article, one of the reasons, not the only reason, it's a very important story. And it's really not getting talked about very much because, of the drum, because of the shooting stuff that happened recently, and then like all the drama at like Amfest and that big TPUSA thing that happened. But no, one of the reasons why I chose to do this story is because it had a thumbnail built right into it. I didn't even have to do any editing. I just had to change the resolution to make it into a proper size thumbnail. But thank you, not the bee, for basically making my job easy for me. But no, Fulton County, you know, in Georgia, confirmed that which Biden barely won, by the way, confirmed that Biden only like it says here at the thumbnail, Biden only won by just shy of 12,000 votes, but they admitted that 315,000 votes were illegally certified. At this point, they're just because it's we're 5 years removed and nobody's going to go to jail for it, so they may as well just we could just like just admit it at this point because nothing bad's going to happen. I think heads should roll for this. Uh, you know, not literal executions. I hate that I even have to say that, but like metaphorically, heads should roll for this. But yeah, shout out to Not the Bee, the Babylon Bee's actual news website, which is still very funny, by the way. Like the way they we've got skeptical Justin Timberlake, and it's still very much Babylon Bee. But color me surprised. Here's Brianna Lyman. This is a post from X. Massive scandal. Fulton County admits they violated the rules in 2020 when they certified about 315,000 early votes that lacked poll worker signatures. We don't dispute the allegation, quote unquote. The SOS also found FC violated official election process. And this is from the Federalist, which I could have read that article, but it wasn't as entertaining. Fucking Bill the Butcher, whoopsie daisy. Goddamn Daniel Day Lewis. God, I haven't watched uh Gangs of New York in a long time. I love that movie. I have to watch it again. While it usually takes about 6 months for conspiracy theories to come true, this one took 5 whole years. FYI, this is Fulton County, Georgia's largest county by population. Remember when the pipes burst in Atlanta? I remember that. I remember watching, like, keeping up with everything going on election night in 2019 or in 2020, and uh, remembering, oh, the pipes burst in Georgia. Oh no. Like I remember following all that, like me and my friends in the Discord server sharing like links to videos and like news articles, like as stuff was being updated, like on the hour. Just like, could you believe this shit? They're stealing it. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago. Here's a direct quote from the Federalist. Earlier this month, Fulton County admitted that approximately 315,000 early votes from the 2020 election were illegally certified, but were nonetheless still included in the final results of that election. The admission came from a December 9th hearing before the Georgia State Election Board, stemming from a challenge filed by David Cross, a local election integrity activist. Cross filed a challenge with the SEB in March of 22. Well, that's a big statement. Donald Trump. See, it's just they use GIFs and memes, and it's just I love these articles. I need to read them more often. Essentially, Fulton County has certified 350,000 early votes without signing off on the vote tabulation tapes, which are critical to the certification process. Georgia law requires poll workers to sign these tabulation tapes at the end of each election day. For context, Joe Biden won Georgia by less than 12,000 votes. Georgia has 16 electoral votes, and Biden won the Electoral College by 306 to 232. Authorities then censored and attempted to jail those who denied the election results. Another one from Brianna Lyman. Just remember, they tried to throw Trump and several others in jail for questioning the integrity of the Georgia election, who in who in Georgia Secretary of State was responsible for accepting Fulton's tabulator tapes despite there being no signature at all. Since your office won't respond. A Georgia Secretary of State investigation found that Fulton County violated official election record document process when it discovered that 36 out of 37 advanced voting precincts in Fulton County, Georgia, failed to sign the tabulator tapes as required. Interesting. Of course, Fulton County has an excuse of sorts. Quote, uh, Ann Brombaugh, attorney for the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections, told the SEB in the hearing that while she has not seen the tapes herself, the county does not dispute that the tapes were not signed. Brombaugh continued, "It was a violation of the rule. We, since 2020, again, we have new leadership and a new building and a new board and a new standard operating procedure. And since then, the training has been enhanced, but we don't dispute the allegation from the 2020 election." Translation: we're not going to send anyone to jail for stealing the White House, but let's put it in the past. They also failed to sign off on 0 tapes before the election began, which would have confirmed that the tabulators were set at 0 before the election began. Otherwise, it is possible that the machines had leftover ballots from previous elections or a possible test run on the memory card. There's a lot to take in here. Here's another direct quote. Or not a direct quote, but another section from I assume the Federalist article. I believe it was the Federalist, wasn't it? Let me scroll back up. Yeah, the Federalist. That's what I thought. Okay. Cross stated that he had obtained 77 megabytes of election records. Only 77 megs? Damn. 77 megabytes of election records for Fulton County through an open record request that cost $15,800. According to Cross, these included 134 tabulator tapes representing 350,000 votes. Each signature block on the tapes was blank, Cross said. Cross also highlighted additional irregularities, such as polling locations being open at impossibly late hours, like 2:09 a.m. Cross also said that he found duplicated scanner serial numbers where the memory devices were removed from one scanner and printed on an alternate scanner. So yeah, all kinds of fuckery afoot in Georgia. Cross mentions that these are not clerical errors; they are catastrophic breaks in chain of custody and certification. He claims Fulton County had no lawful authority to certify its advanced voting results to the Secretary of State, but Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger signed off on these uncertified votes without question. Here's Mark Hemingway. I don't even know who this is. But he's part of this Not a Bee article. I mean, this is really bad. We genuinely can't say with confidence who won Georgia in 2020. Brad Raffensperger got a lot of plaudits for standing up to Trump, but boy, did he suck at his job. Oh, did I mention that a separate poll found 20% of all mail-in voters admitted to committing election fraud? Interesting. 1 in 5 mail-in voters admit they committed voter fraud in the 2020 election. These are just the ones that were willing to admit it on paper. Guys, it's going to be tough to win national elections with this level of election integrity in our country. Now, keep in mind, this is from 2023, by the way. 20% of people who mailed in their vote in 2020 now admit just straight out that they committed voter fraud. There are no mules here, no wonky machines, no burst pipes, just painfully honest Americans who cheat elections and don't care about it. This was a poll done by the Washington Times, by the way. In an election where about 43% of voters use mail-in ballots, the highest percentage in U.S. history, 21% told the pollsters that they filled out a ballot in part or in full for a friend or family member. That is illegal in all states. So yeah, there's no need to dig like way deep in this article because that's it right there. And then there's more. The survey by the conservative Heartland Institute and Rasmussen Reports also found that 70% of mail-in voters said they voted in a state where they no longer lived permanently. Another 70% said they signed a ballot or ballot envelope for a friend or family member. These acts constitute fraud and would invalidate the ballots if caught. So essentially, what this all means is that the 2020 election was stolen and Donald Trump should have been president from 2021 to 2025. You know what I mean? We should be having like the 2024 presidential election should have been between the next Republican to take up the reins, whoever that would have been. Um, you know, probably Ron DeSantis. Because he didn't try to primary Trump back in 2020, so he did it. He tried to do it in 2024, um, or in 23, whenever the primary was, 23, 24. You know, it could have been Ron DeSantis, but he kind of fucked that up. The point is that the 2020 election was stolen, and anybody who says otherwise is gaslighting you. Let me know if you agree in the comments below. And of course, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and be sure to like the video. And there's all that algorithm stuff you could do for me. If you could do all that stuff, that would be great. And then, of course, follow all my links. Follow me on X and do all that stuff. And yeah, keep an eye out for the video game streams. My internet's been a little wonky lately, which is why I haven't done them for the last couple weeks, even though I said I was coming back to it. And I did one stream, but I'll do more. Like I said, the internet's just been a little wonky lately. But anyway, do the algorithm stuff for me and throw me a certified vote.